Willie McCoy was a 20-year-old black rapper who was shot and killed by 6 police officers while asleep inside his car in February of this year. Reports from the police contradict the true events of the shooting, whereby officers claim that McCoy was reaching for a handgun. However, body cam footage taken by the police officers at the scene counteract this claim. The events surrounding Willie McCoy's death sparked national outrage and draws attention to the pressing issue of colour-coded police brutality in the United States. These issues provide the central claim of Patrisse Cullors' When They Call You a Terrorist, published in 2018. The book is a memoir detailing her life and the foundation of the Black Lives Matter movement, which gained popularity in 2013. Cullors' book draws attention to the frequency with which black people are labelled as terrorists as a method of violating their status as equal citizens.
I was called a terrorist. The members of our movement are called terrorists.
This was reflected in the 140,000 signatures on a petition which called for the branding of the Black Lives Matter movement, founded by Cullors, Alicia Garza and Opal Tometi, as a terrorist organisation. Negative labelling of social movements by its opponents has long been a strategy to undermine radical protest in America. This has also been demonstrated in coverage of the Haymarket bombings in 1886. Despite the fact that key figures of the protest, such as Albert Parsons, were not present at the time of the bombing, the government charged them with terrorism and sentenced them to death.
Coverage of social justice events which depicts activists in an unflattering light has been a regular technique of suppression in recent history.
Terrible police assassinations, I think it's domestic terrorism. What about the Black Lives Matter movement?
Well, you see them marching, and you see them, on occasion at least, I've seen it, where they're essentially calling death to the police.
The Black Panthers were branded as terrorists in the 1960s due to their militant approach to protesting. This is a way in which certain social movements have been undermined. These labels have worked to dehumanize radical protest groups whose agendas go against that of the powerful minority. Similar coverage has been offered regarding the Occupy Wall Street movement, which in 2011 saw the mass protest of thousands across America in retaliation to the economic inequality in the United States, illustrated by the famous slogan, "We are the 99%.
Now for a story that made us say, seriously? The Occupy Wall Street protest.
Although not branded as terrorism, a central response to the movement was to call the activists hippies in order to undermine its serious political intentions. This is what Michelle Trio identifies as a strategy of banalization, which is to empty events of their revolutionary content in order to trivialize them. This trivialization is also apparent in Cullors' memoir, which draws attention to the ease with which black people were labelled as terrorists, so as to disregard their movement's political authority. This is a reason why some social commentators, such as Mika White, state that in order to remain relevant and maintain political momentum, Black Lives Matter has to change tactics too. On the other hand, Aaron Gupta states that although Black Lives Matter has experienced growing pains in use of militant protest, digital media and fluid and opaque leadership structures means that they have much more staying power than Occupy Wall Street.
Black oppression under the label of terrorist has not only been used to undermine large-scale social movements, these tactics are used on individual citizens. Cullors' brother, Monty, was charged as a terrorist after getting into a fender bender in 2006. The incident occurred while Monty was suffering from a mental health episode. Rather than properly rehabilitating and medicating him, he was simply charged as a terrorist and imprisoned. In a post-9/11 context, the term terrorist carries forth especially dangerous connotations as it serves as the ultimate threat and complete antithesis of American ideals.
Terror is evil.
Cullors' memoir contains a multitude of examples in which black people are disproportionately targeted by the police.
I am a man. You are a man.
An example of this is when Cullors is arrested for smoking marijuana. Her white peers partook in the same recreational drug use, yet they never feared arrest.
All the white girls did it. I mean, that's actually who introduced weed to me.
This echoes the argument that Janine DeLombard makes regarding the legal rights of fugitive slaves during the Haitian Revolution. She states that it was believed that black people were capable of only criminal agency. Cullors and the black community were under constant surveillance by the police, while their white neighbours were not, which suggests the belief that black people are more capable of criminal behaviour than whites still exists. Patrisse Cullors' When They Call You a Terrorist is a shockingly candid memoir and sheds important light on the issues of police brutality and colour-coded prejudice against black people in the United States. The book must be a stepping stone in the line of progress towards recognition of these prejudices and should be an important cornerstone for initiating change for the better to bring about justice and prove that black lives do matter.